Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Welcome to all of us. Today we are going to be excited about research. I will ask, please, Chourouk Mzahi Responsible for the research on Pratique campuses, to come with us to talk about research. Welcome to Chourouk. Good morning. This exciting morning about research. So, Chourouk Mzahi, it's really good to have you here.
Thank you.
So we are going to talk about research, but first, my first question is quite simple. What is research?
Oh, that's a very good question. So, what is research? Research is actually a creative work which is undertaken on the systematic basis in order to increase the stock of knowledge. So, research helps us to, for example, confirm theories. It helps us also to solve problems, to create new theories. So research is at the same time very general, but it's also very specific, because actually there are no general researchers. Researchers are experts in their topic, their field, so it's at the same time general and specific actually.
Many people consider that research is really not useful. What can you answer to them, and to what extent do you consider that research is really useful?
So, research is useful for the society and for also the individual level. So, we can consider research as something which is not useful, because without research we can't actually move forward. We can, as I said, confirm existing theories, we can test new hypotheses, so we need research to move forward in different disciplines. So, for example, in management it's very important to support the research, because it helps us, for example, to reduce costs, it helps us to increase or improve our performance. So, research is, I think, something necessary.
Okay, so in today's fast-moving world, we talk a lot about the knowledge world. How is it to be a researcher on a daily life basis?
So, actually it's very hard to be a researcher, because it's tough and it takes a long time. Just for your information, to be able to publish in a ranked journal, it takes at least 2 years. So, and the better you want to do, the longer it takes actually, because when you target a high-ranked journal, you will have a peer-reviewed system. So the research is based on peer-review systems. Everybody knows this system. We know that it takes time, the cycle is long, but it's necessary. So it's not very easy every day to be a researcher, but it's very exciting, because actually when we do research, we would like to find something, and when we find something, it's a real pleasure, actually.
And you publish only once 2 years.
So, actually this is what the Ministry of Education in France asks from all the professors in business school and in university. So they ask the professors to publish one ranked review, rank, every 2 years, but great researchers could publish more if they feel to do it, and they are able to do it.
So you talk about the fact that it's useful research. To what extent it might be very useful for a private company? Because it's not obvious for us as students to consider that we need researchers in business school compared to the universities.
So, actually, private companies are very often facing management problems, and to help them solve these concrete problems, research is very useful. So, as I said, the issues of increasing the performance, of reducing costs, increasing the quality of the service or the product actually requires research, requires people who will work on that topic, on that subject, and try to find solutions for them. And that's why they really need research.
So you consider that for many private companies, it's an added value?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
your work?
Yeah, actually, it's an added value. It helps them in their daily activities, and it helps them also in this competitive environment that all of you, I think, here in business school know about.
So if you go further into that issue, how is research here at France Business School organized?
So, here we have a research lab, and we have the graph here that explains how research is organized. So as you can see, we have the research lab which is managed by Richard Sobarno. So he is the big boss of research in FPS. And then we have 5 different sub-labs or centers, okay? And every center is specialized on a very specific topic. So you will have a lab specialized on innovation, another one on education, another one on management, and the last one, which is the lab of Atawat. So here, yes, so this is the first one, the second one, and every time you can see the head of the lab. And the last one is the lab that I am in charge of, which is the Atawat relationship. I don't know if you know this expression. Atawat is anywhere, anytime, and any device conception. So it's related to the digital marketing, but not only, it's also related to new technologies and their role in an organization or a business. So around this subject or theme, there are several professors, and I'm in charge of managing these professors, and we are working around a project related to digital marketing and new technologies.
Okay, and so you're managing on Poitiers campus all the research fields.
So I'm managing research in Poitiers. That's my role. I'm trying to animate research. My role is to help my colleagues doing research, to support them, to give them the help that they need, to talk also about research as I'm doing this morning. And my second role is to manage this center, and here I'm managing colleagues from other campuses, from Brest, Clermont or Amiens, for example, around the subject of Atawat.
Well, this topic. So it means that you invite people to come here?
Yes.
People from the various campuses?
Yeah, we invite people and we organize research days, and we can see here some pictures of the atmosphere and the ambience of our research days in Poitiers. So several professors meet together and try to talk about research, present their papers, present their publications, and we try to give feedback, we try to move forward on several projects actually.
So it means that you work together on the whole FPS group, not only on the campus?
Yes. So actually we have 2 levels. We have the campus level, where we work together with our colleagues, with the professors that you know very well, but we have also a project with the other campuses and with colleagues from other campuses.
So to be a researcher, you need a doctorate, right?
It helps actually. Yeah, it helps. You need to prepare your PhD or your doctorate. It depends on the system. But there are very rare people who are not doctor, and who can do research, who are trying to publish. But usually they decide to start a dissertation, a PhD dissertation or a doctorate just afterwards.
So to be a researcher you need a doctorate or a PhD. To what extent it might be useful for our students, because we consider very often that only a master's degree is enough to find a job on the labor market.
That's true. But actually it depends on your objectives, on your career, what you want to do. As I said at the beginning, research enables you to have a very good expertise. So if you want to be considered as an expert in a specific domain or specific topic, it's really recommended to do a PhD. And in terms of salary, it can also help you in your career. So if you are aiming to be an expert, a PhD can be an added value.
Okay, to become an expert. So you talk about this salary, this possibility of a salary raise.
Yes.
Let's talk about money. How is it, you told us it's hard, it's tough to be a researcher today. How is it to find funds?
So, to do research, we need money, that's obvious. And for our case, research and management, we need the support of companies, actually. So companies sometimes help researchers to conduct projects. They give the funds necessary to specific projects, especially when these projects can help them solving their problems. But also the government help researchers to do research even in management. So there are specific budget from the Ministry of Education that is provided for researchers to conduct specific projects. But you need to present your project, you need to justify the importance of your project and what are going to be the output of your project. So, and what are the managerial implications of your project. So if there are not very interesting managerial implications, the government won't support you and help you. Actually.
So it's you who go and see the private company, or do the private company comes and see you and ask you to do something?
That's very interesting. Yeah, because we used to go and ask for money from the government or from the companies, but what we are trying to do with FPS is different actually, because we are trying to build different expertise around the 5 themes that I have showed you, and around this expertise we are trying to attract companies. So a company that needs an expertise about, for example, the Ottawa issues, they will come and ask us help actually to solve their problems. So we are trying to raise funds differently actually.
So it means that sometimes you work as consultancy or as consultant for companies?
Yes, we need to be careful because research is different from consultancy, but it's a step, okay? That's the first step, and it enables you to have a contact with the firm, with the company, and then you can propose a research project for these companies. But many professors in the school who are researchers work as consultants, and I want to say that to be an expert or to be a doctor in your specific field helps you to be a consultant actually for the company, because you have more credibility. If you are considered as an expert in brand attachment, for example, the firm will feel more comfortable to work with you and you will be more credible actually.
So for the students that would like to become a consultant, you would give this advice to be interested in the doctorate or the PhD?
I think with their FBS degree they will be able to be consultant, but if they are aiming maybe an academic career after a traditional career, or if they are aiming maybe a very specific topic, I would suggest them to yeah. Exactly.
So thank you for this interesting overview about research. So now let's talk about the dissertation for our students. Why do you consider that dissertation is very important for students?
So first of all, dissertation is very important for you guys because you need the memoir and you need your dissertation to get your degree. So to be graduate, actually you need to finish your dissertation, so it's compulsory to do it. That's for the, let's say, administrative reasons, but there are other reasons for you as students, because the dissertation helps you actually to acquire competencies such as solving problems, such as working on literature review, so it enables you to have more conceptual skills and competences, and also it helps you to be more organized and to follow a very specific methodology, because the specificity of research is to follow a very, very strict methodology that enables you to have pertinent results.
So that's why you consider it has to be compulsory.
Yes, it has to be, it's compulsory, but it has to be compulsory because it helps you also to acquire skills that you will need for your jobs actually in the future. So working on reports in a company is similar than working on a research dissertation for your master's degree.
Okay. And how does it work, so this dissertation process?
So the dissertation process in FBS is organized in a platform. So you have several steps. Everything is online. You have online classes, online lectures about the methodology, about the literature review, about the different steps. There are 3 main steps, 3 livrables, 3 reports. The first report enables you to present your project. The second one enables you to present your literature review. Then the methodology, okay, to present the choices that you made in terms of methodology, and then you have your final report. And for every student you have a supervisor who will support and help the student during the whole process.
Okay, and we will talk with the students about this process afterwards, but can you tell us a bit more about that? Where do they find information about all the processes and how it works? And
so, yes, they have all the information actually on the website of FBS, and it explains very well how it works, but they have some classes before the dissertation that also explain the whole process, and then they have the contact with their supervisor at the beginning of the process, and they can go and see their supervisor and ask all the questions that they want or they need to ask.
So it's the first step in the direction of research, that's right. If we talk further about that, which possibilities do students have afterwards?
After the dissertation, yes. So they can move forward by preparing PhD. So there are 2 systems. There is the PhD system, which is more Anglo-Saxon, which is different from the doctorate, which is more French, French universities. So just for your information, FBS is working on a PhD program, and I think it will be provided starting from next year. A PhD which is very international, and a PhD which is based on the Anglo-Saxon system. So during this PhD also you can have some internships, so very, very specific. Or you can have a traditional doctorate, as I did, in a French university. It lasts between 3 and 4 years. You have a supervisor, and you have a final defense at the end of the process.
Where did you study, by the way?
Yes, so I studied Aix-en-Provence. I prepared my PhD there, but I also did some visitings as a PhD student, and a part of my PhD was actually directed or supervised by Danish professors in the Southern University of Denmark, actually.
Okay, so it means that even as PhD or doctorate students, you may travel. You have this possibility. That's something we don't know.
Actually, yes, you need to travel because, as I said at the beginning, research is creative work. So you need to travel, you need to meet other people, you need to discover or see other methodology. So it's very helpful for you. So the visiting PhD students are, actually we do have here some foreign PhD students. We have PhD students from India and a PhD student from Iran. So it's very important for a PhD student to go abroad and to see something different. Actually.
It's interesting to hear you, Chourouk Mzahi, because we don't have this image of research, and we consider that research is only being at the desk office, under the desk, in the library. So that's really interesting to hear you talking about that. There are more and more researchers in business school.
Yeah.
This is a trend we observe.
That's true.
How do you explain that?
That's very important because actually the business schools today are assessed, as you know, by several organizations and by ministry also. And this organization assess and evaluate the pedagogy part, but they also assess and evaluate the research aspect. And all the business schools need to have researchers because it's very important for their program. Because we didn't talk about it, but there is a very, let's say, important relationship between the research and the pedagogy. A researcher will talk about his topics, his researches in his classes and in his lectures. So it's very important for business school to have researchers, and for the accreditation, for example, system or organization such as the CSP, the accreditation that we used to have and that we are applying for the 2 next coming years, it's very important. They look at the research activity in the campus, they look at how many researchers we have, so it's very important for all the business schools to develop their research activity.
So that's how business schools are assessed. We didn't talk about that, but the dissertation that the students are going to do, how is it assessed?
Yeah, so the dissertation is assessed, let's say, by two forms of assessment. Two forms of assessment. The first form is the assessment of the supervisor. The supervisor will assess the content of the dissertation. The supervisor follows the students from the beginning to the end of the process, so he knows very well the student, he knows also the topic, he knows the specific subject, but there is a second assessment which is an oral assessment, and this assessment is held at the end of the process by a second professor, the day of the defense actually of your dissertation. So you have the assessment from your supervisor, and at the end of the process, you will present your dissertation in front of 2 professors. The first one is your supervisor. The second one is a professor who haven't read your dissertation, actually, who is not necessarily an expert of your topic, but he will assess your oral presentation and your ability to explain your topic to someone who actually doesn't know the topic or the subject. So 2 forms of assessment.
So it's a way to foster students to be convincing.
Yeah, exactly. To be convincing and to make research clear for everybody. So actually, when we write a research article, I had a professor in Aix-en-Provence who told us, when you write a research article and you give it to your grandmother, and she has to understand it. If she doesn't understand it, there is something which is wrong actually in your research article. So it needs to be also clear and accessible for everybody.
Do you know if many students are going on with research after the dissertation process?
In business schools, it's rare to have a student who decides to follow with a PhD just after the master degree. But we have several business school students who have their master degree, they have a professional experience as a consultant or as a director, so they have several positions, and then they decide to come back and prepare a PhD. So in business school, it's almost always like that. They go and they try to work in different companies, and then they understand the importance of research, and they come back maybe to follow and to continue their studies in terms of PhD studies.
Okay, so in that case, it might compete with MBA, PhD and MBA.
Yeah, actually MBA is different. MBA is actually aims to improve your position. It's general, okay? It's very general about management, even if we can sometimes have very specialized MBAs today, but it's still something general that helps you to understand the concepts related to your professional experience, actually. And research is different because it helps you to acquire a very specific skill, a very specific competency.
So it's really not the same approach?
No.
Well, thank you very much, Chourouk Mzahi Responsible for Research on Celtic Campus. You can stay with us. I will ask our first students to testimony